In my years as a dog trainer, I have taught many dogs and dog guardians how to get the dog to walk nicely in a heel using force-free training. In this video, I want to share a few tips for how to perfect heel training with your dog. I define the term heel as a dog walking right next to my side at my pace without stopping for sniff breaks. If you're thinking that that sounds quite strict, I would agree with you. For that reason, I instead walk dogs loose leash most of the time, which I define as them going anywhere that they want on the leash as long as there isn't leash tension. Dogs obviously enjoy loose leash walking more, but heel is a fantastic skill when you're walking on busy sidewalks or for times that you want to walk quickly and get more exercise or get to a specific location. Heel is also a helpful skill to use at times if you're working on leash reactivity, since your dog will be close by for rewarding or for management techniques like a U-turn. However, I've noticed 6 really common mistakes that people make when training their dog to heel. Even after many years of doing this, I myself am personally guilty of mistake number 4, and I have to actively remind myself not to do it. Today I'm going to share what those 6 heel training mistakes are and how to fix them. I want to introduce you to Remy. He's going to help me demonstrate all of these mistakes. Remy is a client that I've worked with for leash pulling and reactivity. He's gotten good at walking with a loose leash and not reacting to dogs, so now I want to teach him how to heel. I filmed my first 2 heel training sessions with Remy so that I can show you his progress and what mistakes to avoid if you're teaching your dog to heel. Mistake number 1 is using too large of treats as a reward. When you're training heel, you want to use rewards so that the dog can taste, but they're small enough they don't even need to chew. Why? For best results, I always like to keep any sort of leash training fully in motion. If the treats are too large, the dog will likely want to stop to chew, which can slow down progress. Using small treats also allows you to reward more frequently without giving too many calories or causing stomach upset. This helps keep the treats very high value and reinforcing for your dog. Mistake number 2 is letting your dog choose to leave that heel position. I think of heel similar to the rules that I would set when I trained stay. Once I've given that cue, I want the dog to maintain that request until they hear the release cue. I previously created a step-by-step tutorial with Charlotte showing how I train heel and how I teach a release cue for her to transition to loose leash walking instead. It's important to remember that your dog should stay in that heel position until you release them from it. As you can see with Remy, when he chooses to leave the heel position, I simply turn the opposite direction, cue him to follow me, and then I reward him for doing so. If you let the dog release themselves to go do something such as sniff, then they've self-rewarded for breaking that heel position, and the skill will never be quite as solid as if you set specific rules. Again, I am all for walking loose leash most of the time, but if I ask for a heel, that's the position that I want the dog to stay in until told otherwise. Mistake number 3 is offering the reward too high so that the dog needs to jump for it. Honestly, this mistake was difficult to film with Remy since he's such a tall dog. Yes! But it is a mistake that I commonly see when people are trying to train smaller dogs to heel. If you offer the reward too high, you're accidentally reinforcing a jumping behavior that you likely don't want. Doing so frequently can also encourage your dog or puppy to be more snappy and to take treats more harshly. If you're leash training a puppy or a shorter dog, I highly encourage you to check out this 1-minute video. It's both helpful and funny. Mistake number 4 is rewarding across your body. This is the mistake that I still catch myself doing all the time because I prefer to have dogs walk on my left side, but I'm very right-handed.
Yes. Yes.
However, rewarding across your body encourages the dog to cut in front of you, since that's a position that they've previously been rewarded in. This increases the chances of them being a tripping hazard. Try to remind yourself to reward your dog right at your side rather than in front of you. This is something that I have to remind myself on walks all the time. I would love to hear in the comments if this is a mistake that you're also guilty of. Mistake number 5 is stopping to reward. I always encourage people to remember the goal of what they're trying to teach. When you're training heel, you want the dog to be in motion, at your pace, at your side. If we stop to reward, we're not actually reinforcing the movement, we're reinforcing the stop. As an extreme example of this, if you always reward after stopping, you can't teach the dog to purposely stall on walks to get treats because that's what they've learned gets reinforced. Dogs repeat what we reinforce, so we have to make sure that we are rewarding what we intend to. If you have a dog like Finn that sometimes just refuses to move, what I like to do is have a treat in the hand, turn my back. They only get it once they catch up. Practice marking and rewarding your dog for heeling while maintaining movement, and you'll be shocked at how much faster they learn to stay walking in a heel. Yes! Again, if you have a short dog and you find it difficult to bend over that far while walking, check out the 1-minute tips video that I linked in the video description. Mistake number 6 that I commonly see people make is increasing the difficulty too quickly. Imagine if you were trying to teach a child something. Practicing the new skill in a quiet setting where the child can concentrate will lead to way more success than if you try to teach it at Disneyland. For dogs, busy settings with lots of sounds, smells, and other dogs is basically like trying to teach them a new skill at Disneyland. It's going to be very frustrating for both you and them, so don't start training there. Instead, I encourage you to build a foundation of skills and a strong reinforcement history in a more calm setting, and then slowly progress the difficulty. Think about it like this. It's up to us to teach our dog the alphabet before we get frustrated that they don't know how to spell. If you've been making these mistakes and you've noticed that they're affecting your dog's ability to heel, try not to stress about it. Dogs are always learning, so use today as an opportunity to teach a little bit better. If you want to learn more about how I suggest doing that, and why I don't even actually start with a leash when I first start training heel, watch the step-by-step heel training tutorial with Charlotte next. I will also link my entire loose leash walking playlist right here. Happy training! I'll see you in the next video.